It's like, didn't nobody sign the cool kids? Didn't nobody put the cool kids on? Like, we really just showed up. And we showed up through the route that is this world that you're talking about. Just the way me and Jay-Z were introduced, he kind of was like, man, who is this kid? Like, oh, like that's he's deep. Who is this kid? Every time there's a generation underneath, the people older always like, oh, back in my day. But this is actually for real though. Like our day was tight. If we went back, there's no way to recreate that shit. Like we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Half of us were faded the whole time.
Hey there, it's me, Roxy Cottontail. You might know me as a DJ, artist, designer, and New York City party promoter, or from my bunny logo. I'm putting all that on the table and writing about the years that transformed music and the New York City scene. I've interviewed 250 friends and colleagues I admire. I ask all and reveal all. Please join me and the Tales to rediscover the 90s and the Y2K magical landscape of music, art, technology, and streetwear. This is Roxy's Tales.
I'm Chuck English, one half of the Cool Kids. I produce and I make tons of stuff. Yeah, that's probably what I tell people all the time. I actually produce stuff, not just music.
My guest this week on Roxy's Tales is Chuck English, producer, DJ, rapper, chef, style icon, and one half of the Cool Kids. The Cool Kids, Chuck and Mikey Rocks, came from Chicago and set the world ablaze with their song Black Mags back in the Y2K era and changed the landscape of music forever. The Cool Kids' history is hip-hop history. I'm so excited to share the origins in such a heartfelt interview with someone I respect so immensely. Without further ado, Chuck English.
You know how we met?
Yes. For the first time?
Yeah, first
time. Yeah, I got memory like an elephant.
Okay, good.
Prior to this meeting, like, I heard a lot about you.
From who?
And I think, no, just from magazines and, like, the whole culture of, like, New York being put on the internet at that time. Because I think before MySpace, if you didn't read it in a magazine, you didn't necessarily know exactly what was going on outside of your own city. So I knew you had these parties. The last night's party was kind of like how I got wind of just the whole change of the guard kind of in New York, like the internet and more people that didn't usually be in the same circle starting to mesh into the same circle. And then where we met was we got booked on the same show in like 2007 in LA. And I think you were headlining and we performed. I don't know where the fuck it was, but we were staying in the same hotel. So I met you there.
Yeah, I think it was a BPM. Was it BPM event or?
Yeah, damn, that could have been a BPM event.
Yeah.
Or I Heart Comics.
Oh yeah, it could have been Frankie. This was at room service. I don't know if you ever played there for me. This was a Wednesday night I was doing in like the 20th and Broadway, but it was next to a strip club. It was like me, Legendary Damon, Shane from Hood by Air. But like Jusky was a resident, Sinatra, Ellie, Stretch. It was like a 90s throwback. So you could have played this one, but I haven't found your name.
No, I don't think I did this because I could just tell by that hat. Like, I could tell by the hat what year that was.
What year? Because I know what year it is.
08, early 08.
Yeah.
Did you have any CMJ? Didn't you have a CMJ?
Yes, I had many CMJ.
Yeah, no, like I remember like doing one and then me and you leaving it to go to another one. Yeah.
This is the one. You were always ingrained in hip hop as a rapper. Like, how did you start DJing?
I actually started DJing first.
Okay.
And the producing and DJ was kind of how I saw myself. The rap part came as like, I knew I could do it. And I would make beats that were just like, I wasn't pushing the envelope, but I was pushing the cooler shit. I was making certain things stripped, like down to just as bare drums or some sound effect or something that kind of like always reminded me of the first time I heard rap music. Yeah. And I wasn't getting tired of it, but I was kind of like in a weird position with trying to get people to rap on my shit the way I felt like it should have been rapped on. And it wasn't until I met Mikey that I ever heard that. One of my first raps that I did with Mikey, that was a song that took off. And I always had like I wasn't shy. I knew how to entertain people. Like
Yeah.
I use humor as my icebreaker all the time. You know what I mean? So just knowing that I know people enough to know that the things I was saying would connect, I was just like, fuck it, I'll rap. I wasn't intimidated as much as I was when I was like a younger kid or listening to Nas or Jay-Z or Eminem or all these people where I'm like, I don't know how the fuck they said that. You know what I mean? And then I read a lot more in college. I was around a lot more of the process of making raps, especially in my earlier days. Like a lot of my buddies I hung out with, they had a studio in their apartment in my building. I was there every day, and I started watching how, raps were recorded. Because before then, I just produced and make beats. But watching how people recorded theirs, they didn't always have to have it all the way rehearsed before they rapped it. They actually could punch certain things in. Then I was like, oh shit, yeah, I'm definitely doing this. Like that's easy.
So when were you first like DJing in a club? Like what were your first, were they clubs or like where were you first?
My first real DJ spot was a loft party. Went from a loft party to this spot called Wild Hair in Chicago, like late '05, early '06. My want and love for DJing, though, goes back to like 1997. I just said, fuck it. I'm like, I'm going to art school. I'm really good at art. It's the only class that, I succeed in beyond, like heads and shoulders beyond everybody else. So that's when I was like, all right, I'm gonna ask my dad, like, yo, I don't need to go to summer, I don't need to go to football camp. I want turntables. My dad has always been very supportive of all the shit that I did musically because, deep down inside, he could kind of play drums. He can kind of play every instrument he wanted to play. So seeing it kind of come through me, I always felt the support. Basically, for like a real ill section of time in my senior year of high school, I had two turntables and then I had a beat making program right next to it. And I just cemented everything. Like,
Yeah.
I always knew that DJing brought another side out of me because I know I understand the effect of music and like how to play something that triggers someone's emotions, or be like, all right, I know this room of people don't look alike, but I know y'all heard this song before, or I know y'all haven't heard this song before. You know what I mean? Both of those coming together was just always exciting for me. So once I got to college, a buddy of mine had some turntables and a couple of like records from a record pool. So he was a part of a record pool at a party. And something that happened and the DJ like had to walk outside. I don't know if he was getting a fight with his girlfriend or some shit, but he had left the music dead at a really busting ass party, like when I was in college. So everybody looked at me like, what you gonna do? So I stepped behind there and then I play. I never forget this. This is the first time it's like late '04. I looked at the records. I'm like, oh shit. And I grabbed the 3-6 Mafia and I put on Riding Spinners. And that album had only been out for 2 days. And that shit sent everything up. And then from then on, I was like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. And so the beat and the DJing kind of like worked hand in hand until me and Mikey met. And I added the rap to it. And the rest is history.
When did like you and Mikey, getting gigs together, did that happen first, or you were already like an established DJ?
I think people kind of knew my name from the beats I was posting on Myspace. And, I did a couple of college parties here and there, but I wasn't in a place where mine worked more than his could. Ours kind of started at the same time though.
Same time.
We had these songs on MySpace and kids would just run up to us and start reciting the lyrics. And this is like right after the pack got hot. So there was like a lot of There's a lot of kids wanting more of that, like
Yeah.
genre bending rap. Like to see the Pack have a video about skateboarding and Vans, and that actually take over that whole summer was important for me and him to see, because it's like, all right, this ain't us just trying to throw shit at the wall and see if it sticks. You got the Pack, you got Lupe Fiasco, you had like all the stuff happening in the Bay, and it was like kind of a perfect time, because even to tie it back to the stuff that you had going, kids were dressing different and they were listening to different shit, and I think we came in at a perfect time because we were too.
I think all of our pockets or our communities were all, you know, evolving. But once the internet bridged us all together, we're like the first generation where that could become a global community.
Right. That's literally how to word it. It's like these things were happening, but to meet other people in different cities and it kind of becoming one network was the coolest shit in the world to me. And it also serves that, you know, really good eras are all about timing. And you can't if we went back, there's no way to recreate that shit. Like we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Half of us were faded the whole time. Like just I mean having fun. It wasn't a dark period of being faded at all. Like I think I got per 100 stories, 86 of them were fire. You know what I'm saying? Like I might have had 22 that I'm like, yeah, I could have did that different, but I still wouldn't change it. No. So when I think about today, and you know, something comes out and a publication is like, this is gonna usher in a new era. It's like you can't do it like that. Like you can only go back and look at it and be like, yeah, that was some shit. While you're in the middle of it, it just is like what we were doing.
Were you ever intimidated with nightlife? It was always like an open arm. You were always welcome.
I was always welcome. I think that there's a way that my parents raised me and like my dad showed me how to speak to people. That any sort of area of people that I'm in, I'm either gonna unite or I'm gonna help or I'm gonna, you know, I don't ever walk into shit that I don't feel, period. So, you know, when I speak to people or if I walk up to people, it's like I already knew who you were before I got there. You know, like I could feel shit. So I think the fact that I also know when to be quiet, I listen, I observe a lot. So it's like people might see me, or when I was younger, they'd see me and they recognize me from seeing my face. I wasn't loud. I wasn't like trying to be noticed. But when somebody would talk to me, they'd realize like, oh, this motherfucker really got some shit to say. Oh, he really knows this shit. Like, why you just standing over there, bro? It's like, because that's what I do. And then that comes to next time you meet him, now y'all are building a friendship. And that would happen in any circle I was in, with DJs or, you know, I used to go to spots. Oh, shit. Wow.
Another throwback.
You got the throwbacks for real. I do not remember that shirt, but that shirt is fresh as hell. Every picture you put up, I'm like, I was actually getting dressed.
What do you mean? When were you not?
No, I'm just saying, just seeing, you know, a lot of people look at their old fashion or like what they used to wear and be like, I used to wear that. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty proud of myself. Look at that.
So where else were you going in Chicago? Like, where were you going out?
There was a spot called Empire Liquors. There was Evil Olive. There was Enjoy, a party I threw. Yeah, I did a lot. Like, I did a lot. That's the spot that we all.
You were playing at all of those places as well as just like hanging out.
Yeah, I wasn't the hanger outer too much. Like I would go to spots that I already, you know, DJ'd at.
Yeah.
So it was like, that was kind of my thing. That was kind of how, you know, I kept it light. You know, if I DJ there, I would get to know the staff that night. So then when I come back, you know, things are easier for me.
And it's just having that built-in community too.
Yeah, like I was good at knowing everybody at every place that I was doing stuff at. And as a DJ, it's like you don't want to be there to like kind of blow off steam. You kind of want to go in there and see how things are done when you're not DJing, so you could be a better DJ. And that's kind of like what I would do. I would go to the spots and try to study the crowd that I was playing to, so I know, all right, what extreme can I go? Which direction can I go in the extreme direction? And if I wanted to play something that was, I mean, extreme direction, where I could go in the new direction, and if I wanted to play something like old, or
do I have to be?
Yeah.
So were you on the holler board?
I got put on the Hollertronics by a girl I was hanging out with, and that's how I got kind of put on to what Flosstradamus was doing, because that's how she explained it. She was like, "Oh, have you heard of Flosstradamus?" I was like, "No, they're like the Chicago Hollertronics," and I was like, "Oh shit, well, I want to go see them." I went to two Flosstradamus shows before I went to, or Flosstradamus gigs before I went to their Get Out the Hood parties that they were throwing. And then I only went to two before the third. I went to the first one, and I was like, I said to myself, I'm gonna rap at this party. And then 3 parties later, I was rapping at the party.
Wow.
So like, didn't nobody know me for shit. It's like a couple people knew me. Like they happen every month. So 2 months later, I'm rapping at it. So that's kind of how everything really, really got started. So yeah, Hollertronics is a big part of like me just being heading in that direction. And then led to when me and Mikey went on tour with MIA and Low B being her DJ, and us like having just the conversation and connection off like, hey, G, I was in college and this is all I was listening to. You know what I mean? And now being that kid telling them, and then being around kids that are like doing cool, crazy shit, and they'll be like, Chuck, man, you don't know, when I was in college, I was listening to cool kids like this. And I'm like, that cycle is very refreshing, because that's how I got here. So if the shit that got me here, I'm doing, gets other people here, then I feel like that's a really good purpose to have. Just talking and reminiscing about it right now is just like, fuck. I don't think we knew what we were, that beauty of a time we were in. But when I reminisce about it, like I can't even think of days I didn't like. You know what I mean? Like, it was just fun, and there was really no hierarchy of it. It wasn't like a gatekeeping situation. Like, even though you were an extremely important figure in the scene, you were extremely approachable to people that didn't know. I felt like I was the same way. I feel like everybody was like that. Like, you could just come to one of the parties and end up getting drunk with us, and now you're just a part of the scene. And not saying that that's not available anymore, but with the way the internet works, it's like, I don't know if people leaving their house for the same reason we left our house for.
How do you think like all of that impacted now?
I go back to being in New York and like late 06, early 07. I used to crash with my buddy and my college buddy, and he was best friends with Harry Fraud. So I used to stay at Fraud Spot in Chinatown anytime me and Mikey came to New York. And that was right around the taco spot, I think it's La Esquina.
Yeah.
And which was down the street from the Supreme store, which was like, everybody would go get their food at La Esquina. The Supreme store was actually like a cool place to hang out at, especially if they fucked with you. And I say that whole epicenter like spiraled out to be, you know what I mean, like kind of the things people aspire to create shit from. But like where we're at now is like, it's kind of like sneaker culture. It's like how that shit has gotten so fucking out of hand. And it's really about like the resellers. Like I saw the other day, people got white Air Force Lows for $150, reselling them for $150. And I'm just like, yo, this is just not how it's supposed to work. Like, I'm not like the old geezer, bro. Like, I'm actually still out here doing the same shit I was doing when I was a kid. Like, like I'm not even trying to play like I'm younger than I'm not. I'm just at the same spot I was. You know what I mean? Like I've matured, I'm responsible, like I have all these working parts, but my soul is still where that taco spot was out front of Supreme. Like I still like that shit. I start hearing the sounds of outside. I think that was natural. What's happening is, oh, that was so good. Let's make another one. And then that turned into, oh, well, that was cool. Let's make another one. And now that one is like, that was all right. Let's make another one. So it's like the base of it was autonomous. Like we had no clue. It was just cool people doing cool shit. Then you try to package that and be like, hey, y'all seen this? And then other people like, yo, I want to be cool. I want to dress like those kids from back then. Boom. And now you got a repurpose of a store that's just retroing everything we were doing right there. And now there's just a site that resells just the whole culture. It's like this hierarchy of just telephone where it's like, oh, what was happening down there? Boom. So I think what we were a part of was like, yeah, we can't say, hey, we started shit. You know what I mean? Like I was wearing old sports memorabilia from shit from early 80s. You know what I'm saying? I didn't start that, but it's like the people that were wearing that around New York around the time I was, our purpose was the same. I remember if somebody had like Air Force Ones on and they was kind of worn, like it kind of matched their whole aesthetic. It wasn't like, oh, let me just wear some dirty forces because that's the style. Like that's not the style. Yo. Like the person you saw that was cool that had dirty forces probably walked 7 miles and then took a picture. So you picking from the story and adding it to your fit instead of knowing that there was a story with that. You know what I mean? So I think that what we were a part of was the inception of style on the internet because it was the first style on the internet. It was like shit went from Vice magazines, Urban magazines, Complex magazines, to what we are now. And those was just fashion shit. Like on our music side, music wasn't covering nothing else but music. Like I remember going on Disco Bell. I remember all of those sites where it was just music and remixes. I think about that shit today now, like, damn, bro, like I wish I would have took pictures of that. I wish like there's a lot of what we were doing where I'm like, even looking at your pictures now, I'm like, damn, I should have more pictures of that. I didn't know it was gonna go away like that. You know what I mean? Remember, I didn't know that this would change so drastically and not change because people changed, but change because our outlets became more easier and catered more to us not having to do shit instead of encouraging us to do shit. I remember when you could get pulled off from DJing. Like I've watched even homies get disconnected because they was fucking up, and that shit don't happen no more. You could literally train wreck your whole set, but if the person DJing has over 175,000 Instagram followers, the party don't nobody give a fuck. And that's the only part that's kind of like off-brand is
that the nobody outweigh.
You lived in the era where didn't nobody really care who you were. Like Jay-Z used to pop up to Vashti parties and like be in the corner chilling and wouldn't nobody even say shit to him. It was like Jay-Z could be in the spot and wouldn't nobody say shit to him. And not like they didn't respect him. It was just like that. He's in here. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember there was a time me, you, and Jesse were at Gold Bar, and like there was John Mayer there was Khalees there, it was like half the Celtics, there was like fucking every single Cuddy was everybody you can imagine was in Gold Bar, and nobody even gawked. It was like, oh, they're here too? Tight. But this is our spot. You know what I'm saying? That's what it used to be like. And yeah, it's just a golden age of shit, man.
You know, I do believe that we weren't under, we just weren't under the microscope of exploring our time together. You know, it was like it was a lot of spontaneity, which does not happen anymore. People want to be posted and they want to be contrived to look a certain way. And we didn't have that, you know,
I know, and that's the part that's freaky to me, because it's like there wasn't even a fucking thought of that. There was like I think the one thing that a lot of people kind of don't understand now is there was no everybody could be a celebrity. You know what I mean? Like there was no even avenue for you to be bigger than what you were for not doing something that people were attracted to or attached to, or you built your own world. Like even down to, so, you know, like I think the first real celebrity in my world that I was close to, that was in our world, was A-Track, because he was A-Track. You know what I mean? But even at that kind of peak popularity within my world of shit, it was still our world. So it wasn't like we were gonna see, you know, A-Track doing a fucking, you know, We Are the World Live Aid campaign with every single celebrity, and now he's like grouped into.
Now I want that to happen.
I do want it now, but I'm saying then
walk around with this little red cassette tape and play We Are the World on repeat. Like I used to carry this around playing that.
It was a good ass song. It was a good ass song. But I mean, I'm trying to say, like, in our subgenre, we didn't think people peaked, but like we were comfortable for where they're at. Like A-Track was like a celebrity. You know what I mean? Like even me, like the world, half the world don't know who I am, but like the people that do the shit that we do, they know me for almost 15, 16 years. Like I was outside for that shit. And for the kids underneath them, like the cool kids were hella influential to the look and the sound of everything that was kind of happening at that point. So we were all peers in our own world that we didn't want to stretch out further and wasn't being pulled to stretch out further. It wasn't like an infiltration system happening because you couldn't really get on by doing what? Were you going to DJ? If you're not a good DJ, no one gives a fuck. What are you, cute? All the girls around here are cute. What the fuck are you talking about? What, can you break dance? Tight. So can the homie. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, it was like, what can you do? And then when you could do something, people opened their arms and embraced you. Every time there's a generation underneath, you know, the people older always like, oh, back in my day. But this is actually for real though. Like our day was tight. It was the coolest of the cool shit. And, you know, when that's your people, like when it's like your group of people that you're doing stuff for, and you know how cool it looks like on the outside, you have this sense of pride. That's why, like, I think some of my best DJ sets were at your functions. Another one was at something Jesse Marco had. I had something out here where I did a DJ set with Jack from Jay Davy, and that was like an El Cid downtown. And then one of my better ones, I don't know what it was for, but it was at the Airliner in LA. And this is around the time like the Be More Club shit was like maybe like 2 years old. So it was like all the early remixes, the Airs remixes, the Low B remixes, and then like Black Star came with the Shake It to the Ground. And I mixed Shake It to the Ground with Saturday Love. And I have never, still to this day, I don't think I fucked nothing up like that before. So I had like Shake It to the Ground and Alexander O'Neal's Saturday Night Love. I blended them. And I remember standing back from the DJ table like, whoa, I don't know how I did that. But like, that was what was making it cool. It was like people with deep musical knowledge and knowing how to cross blend certain things that bring kids to old shit, bring old people to new shit. And then people really trying to dance back then. That's the beauty of it. Like people were really fucking trying to dance. You know what I mean? There wasn't
sweat their asses off.
And all the stuff that we're talking about and me going back and reminiscing, I think the best part about all that shit is we were present. Like we were there. There wasn't even tomorrow yet. It was like, what are you doing tomorrow after we left? Or you go to the party, you got that good drunk, you go get some food, and now we're talking about tomorrow. And I think that's the one part that was so beautiful. And like, I really miss that. I stay present, but it's like the culture and your surrounding environments, they're not present. You know what I mean? Everything is either the past or the deep future.
Are there any genres, DJs, artists that I introduced you to?
Oh, there is. Damn, that's a fucking deep one. I remember playing something and you were like, yo, do you know that they got all of this too? And you like kind of put me on it, but I forgot who the fuck that was. But I used to like watch you do shit or you play a blend and you weren't selfish about telling me like who it was. You know who else was like that? And I like is AM was like that too. Like I used to AM would play some shit or I'd hear some shit and I used to text him and be like, yo, bro, do you got this? Do you got the instrumental? And he used to just be like, here, check your email. And I was like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean?
But I was always, generous with
No, you were super. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You were always like, oh, this is this. Do you know about them?
I'm going to share the wealth.
Yeah. That's one thing you did.
If it makes me feel good and it's making you feel good, it's going to make a lot of other people feel good too.
Yeah, exactly.
What were like some memorable interactions you had that helped like change your trajectory as an artist?
I think the most monumental one I got, it's like 08. In July of 08, we were doing some shows overseas. And like Pharrell had introduced me to Jay-Z, right? So I'm like around, we're like in the touring party for this 3-day, like we're in Paris one day, and this is right before Jay-Z does Glastonbury in 08. This is like, I'm out there at that time. And like I said, I'll be in a spot. I'm very inviting. Like I like engaging people, but I'm also to myself when there ain't nothing to be talked about. So I think just the way me and Jay-Z were introduced, he kind of was like, man, who is this kid? Like he's deep. Who is this kid? And was very aware of what me and Mikey were doing, but like didn't know shit about us too much. And then we chopped it up one night, and then the second night, like the NERD is performing in where we're at, and then Pharrell and Chad and Kenna and all them have a dinner, and they invited us to it. So we go there. Dinner's kind of over, but everybody's still there. Me, Jay-Z talked to him about a couple things. He's like, man, them beats is crazy. Like we get to talking about some just light shit, and then the next day, this is at the Wireless Festival. So I'm at the Wireless Festival and I'm like in the artist area. So we kind of chop it up again. And I don't remember what led to let, but the one thing he had said to me, he was like, we see you. He's like, I know what you feel. He was like, people see you and you got here on your own. And he was like, it's gonna be people that bite you. It's gonna be people that act like they don't see you while they take your shit. He was just like, just be quiet about it. And I don't know, I'm paraphrasing, but I remember him saying some shit like, yeah, don't bark at the wrong tree. Like, obviously, y'all are really good, but the only thing I can tell you advice-wise is just keep doing what you're doing. And if you're a source of creativity and you don't have to worry about ideas, people are going to take your shit. And the one thing don't do is cry about it. And I took that shit and I was like, oh yeah, for sure. But honestly, that's one of the things that kept me here this whole time. I've felt countless amounts of, damn, y'all gonna let him take my shit and run with it, and y'all ain't gonna let me do nothing? And then always go back to being like, nothing has ever stopped my trajectory. No one has ever gotten in my way. No one has ever said, nah, let's not have Chuck there. It's just, I'm not in the conversation yet. So when I get in the conversation, I don't really lose nothing. People are like, oh, him or Chuck? Like, we're gonna do Chuck. We know him. And I think just making sure that I checked my initial emotions towards anything. So I think like his advice towards me was, I don't even know if he'll remember this shit, but that shit changed my life, because to have someone like Jay-Z be like, not, hey man, you're killing it, or hey man, like, kind of playing into that, you're here now, how's it feel type of narrative. That man just said, hey, they see you, bro. Like, just relax. Just relax. To know you've been seen and like people that you look up to see you for your work, but him to go out of my way and be like, gee, everybody sees you. The only thing I can tell you is shut the fuck up. I don't think anybody else would have took that the right way. I took that like, you ain't got to tell me nothing else, because that was the only thing I was worried about. It's like, didn't nobody sign the cool kids? Didn't nobody put the cool kids on? Like, we really just showed up. And we showed up through the route that is this world that you're talking about. We showed up inside of my own world, the world that I love, the world I was in college listening to. The people around that I connected with first are the ones that lifted us to where we was at. I don't even think you could figure out what the one common denominator is and the shit we were all doing. Because like when you speak on all the parties like Banana Split or Rice and Peas or all of these different, I remember them being their own fucking vibe. And I remember like, even if you saw the same people there, they didn't even have the same type of fit on for different parties. Like, and yeah, that type of attention to detail is going to be really hard to duplicate until like, that's why I think you explaining this or you telling this story is super important.
Thank you. This was so awesome.
Yeah. I love this, man. This is a good way to start my day. I be remembering shit, but like just to see it and kind of talk about it and go through pictures, like that was really cool.
Thanks for hopping by. That's it for this week. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and stalk. Bounce, little kitty.